We're starting in Richland County now, where a family has their day in court after a horrific boat crash on Lake Murray left a man and his family now looking for justice.
Yeah, on September 21st in 2019, the Kaiser family, Sean and her husband Stan, and then their daughter Morgan, were out on their new pontoon boat. It was supposed to be a fun day on Lake Murray, but that is when prosecutors say a speedboat driven by Tracy Gordon slammed into the family's pontoon. Stan died and Sean had to have her right leg amputated, and Morgan was left with multiple injuries. Since that day, the family has been lobbying for tougher boating laws in our state, but today, that driver of the boat is in the courtroom. That's right, in a Richland County courtroom. It is the state of South Carolina versus Tracy Gordon. Gordon is charged with reckless homicide by operation of a boat and 3 counts of boating under the influence. News 19's Rachel Ripp has been in that courtroom all day and joins us with the latest. Rachel, what did you hear?
Andrea Darcy, so far this case has already seen a jury-selected opening statements and the beginning of the prosecution's witnesses. Now, as far as proceedings in court today, the judge ruled that the defendant's blood alcohol concentration results will not be able to be used in court. We also heard from new witnesses. Tracy L. Gordon versus the state of South Carolina. Most of the morning Wednesday in court consisted of the defense and prosecution discussing the importance of a law enforcement signature on an affidavit for a blood alcohol concentration test. The defense saying there was no proper signature by the law enforcement officer.
The officer cannot willfully render himself blind, walk out of the judge's office with a search warrant that he saw, presided over to whatever extent he did, and received, and then claim good faith. That is not what was ever intended by the U.S. Supreme Court. It's not what's intended by our courts.
The prosecution arguing that the judicial signature on the affidavit gives it credibility.
It is the judicial role in this to give the authority to law enforcement to conduct the search. So without the obvious judicial approval of the search warrant has, I think it's very clear that the search warrant is invalid. It has significant issues.
After lunch, the jury came back into the courtroom hearing from witness Paul Cato, who was on Lake Murray in his boat during the accident.
It was pretty horrific what transpired.
Cato explained that he saw a Baja boat pass him out of the wake zone to his right, speed up, cross over to the left, and hit the pontoon boat out in the distance about 75 yards away, going about 25 miles per hour.
I noticed that the driver of the pontoon boat was already deceased.
What made you think that?
His head was gashed open.
Cato says he then helped pull the pontoon boat with rope to a nearby restaurant Rusty Anchor to meet first responders. In cross-examination, the defense had Cato highlight that 25 miles per hour wasn't a speed out of the norm, and that it was common practice for Cato and other Lake Murray residents to have had 1 beer before going onto a boat to drive home. Then SCDNR Lance Corporal and Education Coordinator Gilmore Stevens took the stand. He described the pictures DNR took of the 2 boats the night of the accident, September 21st, 2019.
The instrumentation and the steering wheel are on the inside of the vessel. So for it to be on the outside like that, it's been dislodged and damaged, broken off, and sheared to the outside of the vessel.
Hanging over the side.
Hanging over the side, yes.
Stevens then came down from the stand and court went into an afternoon break. Court will resume here at the Richland County Judicial Center tomorrow morning. Again, the judge ruling today that the blood alcohol concentration results of the defendant will not be able to be used in court going forward. As far as timeline, the lawyers involved in this trial say they're expecting until Friday. Reporting in Richland County, Rachel Ripp, News 19 WLTX.
Well, back in July, Governor McMaster signed the Boating and Safety Education Bill. The new law requires boaters born on or after July 1st, 2007 to receive a boating safety certificate after completing a boating safety course. The course will be administered or approved by the Department of Natural Resources.